Here comes the Space Force. President Trump has ordered the creation of the Space Force to deal with things in space or something. We're not exactly sure what it will be able to do since we have international treaties against putting soldiers in space or arming spacecraft, but nonetheless, Trump said at a meeting of the National Space Council, quote, when it comes to defending America, it is not enough to merely have an American presence in space. We must have American dominance in space. So important. So important. Okay. He says, I'm hereby directing the Department of Defense and the Pentagon to immediately begin the process necessary to establish a Space Force as the sixth branch of the armed forces. That's a big statement. Space Force. We got a Space Force. We're going to fight the Martians. We're going to take their oil. Actually, to be honest, I think Titan has a lot of natural gas. So, maybe we should go there. I hear Titan needs to be liberated. They need some American freedom. And when we're done with that, we're going to build a space wall. And the aliens are going to pay for the space wall. Believe me. No, this is a dumb idea. It's not even a practical idea. Look, you guys know I love space. I love space exploration. I actually want a Star Trek future, which kind of involves having a socialist utopia. I'm just saying, look, nobody ever wants for anything. There's no money in the Star Trek future. Everybody gets everything they need. There's no poverty or anything on Earth. So how do you think that happens? You have socialism. But anyway, look, I do want a Star Trek future. I don't want a Space Force. It's sort of ridiculous, right? Because again, we have treaties against arming people in space and using space as a battlefield. So what's the point? And besides, even if we do decide to, say, screw international law, screw all the treaties, we're going to have our guns, we're going to put our guns in space. We're going to have the Space Force, and it's going to be armed. Well, then, what does that actually do for humanity? No, it doesn't do anything for humanity. Instead, we should, again, continue doing what we're doing and actually increase what we're doing and do more scientific discoveries. Because, look, a lot of the great inventions that we have came from space and came from engineering things for space. Tang, anybody? Of course, that's just one example. I don't even think that's a real example, but a lot of different inventions have come from trying to engineer things that actually work in space. But like I said, anyway, yes, we should be going up there and doing science and actually learning things and learning things about the world and also doing something about climate change. That'd be great too. But look, Donald Trump wants a military application. I think he has watched Starship Troopers too many times. But look, this conversation, as I said, is moot. Donald Trump can't just go and create a space force. Actually, a new branch of the military can only be established by an act of Congress. And I don't necessarily see Congress saying, Space Force. Yeah, we're right on it, Mr. President. Look, the last time that actually happened is when the Air Force split off from the Army. Now, look, will we eventually create some sort of Space Force? Yeah, like maybe 100, 150 years from now, when we actually have multiple countries doing space travel, etc. But right now, I don't think we're anywhere near that. And besides, I think any sort of Space Force should be cooperative between all the different nations. But again, that's going to the Star Trek future that I'm interested in getting. But nonetheless, they're going to try for it. Donald Trump wants to try for it. Now, I want to give you a quote here. This is from Todd Harrison, director of the Aerospace Security Project at the Center for Strategic and International Study. He said that last year the House passed a bill that would have created a Space Corps. But turns out it died in the Senate, and so that's why we don't have a Space Force. But Harrison does add that a Space Force would not involve actual military personnel in space, again, because of the Outer Space Treaty. It also prevents the placement of nuclear and other weapons of mass destruction in orbit. Now, look, all of this you would assume the president would know, right? But no, he does not know because he's not a very stable genius. He's not a very smart person. Look, if you want to consolidate command of the military's existing satellite systems into a more efficient command, well, that would make certain sense, right? If you want to protect our satellites against other anti-satellite weapons, well, that also makes sense, right? But at the same time, I think that humanity should be focusing less on war, especially potential space warfare, and more about policies that will help human beings on Earth. And that's the thing, right? We should be focusing on combating climate change or ending the useless conflicts in the Middle East, transitioning to a green energy economy. There's so much more that we could do rather than waste time and money trying to create a space force. Let's actually, I don't know, clean up our house before we decide to reach out to the stars a little bit more. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.